Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
Hello and good morning, everybody. I am your host, Sivonnia DeBarros, the protector of athletes, also the founder and principal attorney of the S.L. DeBarros Law Firm, where we represent 6- and 7-figure business owners and athletes in business. So this week, we are talking about name, image, and likeness, the possibilities, the future, and the now. So someone posed a question to me that technically said, hey, what do you think is going to happen in the future for name, image, and likeness, considering the Supreme Court decision that came down between NCAA and Austin? Do you believe that there is a possibility of a players' association being created for these athletes? And the question also posed, now with name, image, and likeness, student athletes' health and performance is something that will, definitely be a shift that would be, coming down the pipeline. So I really thought about this question, and I told this individual, I said, you know what, that's a great question, and I want to think about that and do an episode on it. So here I am. So I've had a chance to discuss Players Association with someone who loves sports, my husband, and we had this very long discussion about what the benefit of a Players Association would be for student athletes. Now, if a Players Association was created, so that we're talking in the future right now, okay? So if a Players Association was created, I would think that the association will possibly be created, or an arm of it, by the NCAA. So a lot of the arguments against NCAA was stating that they've technically had a monopoly on college sports for years. My opinion, I think that's true. They've been the dominant athletic association, the dominant actor around athletes, performance, rules, prohibitions, everything, right? They set the standard. So it reminds me of the NFL, the NBA, WNBA, where they all have players associations, but it's NFLPA, NBAPA, WNBAPA. Do you understand? So everyone has this arms, but it's really a players association, which is a link off of the original athletic association. So do I think that can happen in the future? I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible. One of the other things that we discussed was, if there's a PA, and let's say the PA is created by the NCAA, so maybe it may say NCAA PA, right, for college athletes. What about the possibility of college athletes organizing to create a union? So now this takes me into one of the other parts of this question that was posed to me, especially about the business of taking care of athletes' health and performance. Well, we know the best people to advocate for athletes are athletes themselves. They know exactly what it is that they're going through. They know exactly what they are experiencing. They know exactly the diversity and inclusion issues that are at their particular college or university. And so they can speak more credibly to the issues that are present for them. So if we're talking about health and performance, we also know that each and every state or college has their own way of doing things. So even if you're looking at look at one state, every school probably doing something different, right? So they already have set their standards of what is acceptable to say, okay, well, if this athlete says that they're hurt with X injury, we're going to do whatever measures, right? And then we clear them. Well, what is the standard of clearing the athlete to then allow them to return to the game? So it's possible now, especially with NIL, college athletes could organize to create a union. But here's also the benefit of a possible union, right? So if NCAA has, because they're reworking their rules now, right? So let's say the NCAA does something or has some rule, and the college athlete is part of, let's just say, college athlete union. Well, that union will appoint a representative for that athlete to fight whatever issue is at hand. So that's definitely a possibility of college athletics. But right now, so I'm going to transition to the now. Right now, I think that some of these questions it's intricate. It's also confusing because there's so many possibilities of what can happen with name, image, and likeness. Like, a lot of people defied having NIL legislation. They defied it. They forbid it. Oh, that's not going to happen. Well, it's happening. So it's definitely possible that the future of NIL may look like a college athlete players association. It may look like college unions to protect the health, safety, and performance of these athletes, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing that athletes should be walking away from these colleges is what they came there for, which was, or should have been, for education. So they can go into the next phase of their lives and dominate in that next phase of their lives, right? So now, what is it that we should be focusing on? What is it that we should be focusing on as college athletes? So I want to remind you guys that I do have a new book that is launching July 31st, the end of this month, on athletes making moves. That's the name of the book, Athletes Making Moves. You can go to athletesmakingmoves.com to register for the book launch, pre-order your book. And if you pre-order the book, you're automatically going to get access to the event, and you get put into a drawing to win prizes. So let me go back to this. So we are in the now. What should athletes be doing now, right? Because some people don't have the ability to think about all of those issues that could come down the pipeline. So one thing athletes can do now, sign up for this launch. Sign up for this book launch. This is going to be an eye-opener. This is going to be an event that inspires you and motivate you to get all of your ducks in a row. The last thing I want college athletes to do is to start this process in a sloppily, to where they start from the back of the 8 ball instead of starting off from good footing. Everyone hates being the first to go and do something or to try something out, right? But what's wrong with being the first? Because I'm the first person to launch a book entirely on NIL. Do I know that some of these rules are going to change? Absolutely. But I also know that there's information that has not changed for centuries that athletes can utilize to protect and maximize their name, image, and likeness. So the first thing that athletes can do, like I said, is register for this book launch. Second, make sure that you pre-order this book. All right. Third, recognize what type of athlete you are. Are you a prospective athlete? And that means you are a college athlete who will soon be going to college. Have you received an acceptance letter? Have you been enrolled? Because you need to understand that cutoff. Because if you have not been enrolled, you're not an eligible athlete under name, image, and likeness. All right. Now, are you an active, enrolled, eligible college athlete? If you are, You should be looking at your particular state's NIL legislation, because it will tell you what your rights and obligations are under that statute. Now, if you get my book, you're going to have access to that. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. You don't have to, tap into other resources. That resource would be right there for you. Plain language spelled out for you. And there's some issues that we're going to also talk about on the lunch, but it also delves deep into the differences of NIL legislation in the book. So I urge you to get that. Third, or did I say third? Fourth, I want you to think about what makes you unique. I think one of the biggest things that can sink a brand is trying to be like everybody else. So I want you to really think about what makes you unique. That's the now that you can do. What makes you unique? What is it that you've been doing for free that now with this opportunity you can monetize? Get a book, start writing that stuff down. If people have taken an interest into you, if there are places in your community where you grew up or in the community where you go to school, start looking at what are the possibilities to now cultivate a business relationship under NIL based on all of that brand that you've built in over the years. So those are things that you can do now. All right. So make sure that you go get your ticket for the Athletes Making Moves book launch. I'm super excited for this, guys. This is definitely going to be one for the books and a good one for the books. So I look forward to seeing you guys on July 31st at 1:30 Central Standard Time. Be focused, know exactly what your now is, be clear in what it is that you desire for your future, because that is the way that you are going to maximize name, image, and likeness. All right. So that is all I have for you today. And until next time, I'll check you later. Ciao.
Thanks for joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.